Let's go to London Stadium, West Ham Arsenal, my friend. So it was a West Ham team that had come out of a decent result against Newcastle. Lopetegui needed it. There was talk about
really decent
he had
result.
two
Really
games to save his job. An Arsenal team that looks back in form, mate. We saw them score 3 against Nottingham Forest in the midweek. I think it was 5 against Sporting in the Champions League ahead of this game. So two teams in good form coming together, thinking it's a decent derby, thinking this one's be contested. Wasn't the case, really, was it? In 45 minutes, well, in 38 minutes, I think it was, Arsenal Football Club were 4-0 up.
Yeah, it was. Everything is clicked into place for Arsenal, and I mean everything. We saw a set-piece goal. We saw Gabriel again was a nuisance in set pieces. Scores the first one. Of course, there's a penalty where the goalkeeper nearly punches his head off for a penalty. You're still seeing Kai Havertz score goals. You're still seeing Martin Odegaard pulling the strings. You know, they're still spreading the goals around. Saka scores. Havertz scores. Trossard scores. Like everything that the manager wants, he sits back. You know, after this game yesterday, and he's like, that's it, I've got everything that I want back again. So normal service has been resumed. I mean, when they're on it, they're a joy to watch Arsenal, and we all know about Odegaard, and lots been spoken, and rightly so. A couple of injury doubts. Gabriel went off, didn't he? Calafiori went off.
Not sure what those
so
were.
That'll be a slight.
Kivior's not the greatest to come in with, and he doesn't fill me with confidence, Rob, when he plays either at left back or left side centre back.
I think this, going back to the last conversation, Rob, I think if you've got to put in Zinchenko for a little bit, whether it's Kivior, I know, but are they in such a good moment that it gets covered up? Like their football's
possibly.
So good.
They're in good form when the confidence is rolling in the team.
And it doesn't affect.
It just worries me that there's an error in a Kivior in a big moment. That might be the difference.
This goes back to how many games is Gabriel going to be out?
Is that going to be? Yeah.
I think one, 2 or 3 games, you often get away with it. The longer it goes on, as we saw it with Saliba, when he was out that time, you can get away with it for a little bit, but the longer term, it's a problem. No, I mean, there's not a lot more for me to add to that. I just. The only thing I would say, Rob, I'm just looking at my notes here in the second half, is like the game was kind of done, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
always. It's hard when you've got 4 goals, 5 goals in the first half to think about going again in the second.
When we saw Martin Odegaard go down in the second half, we're like, should he be on? Like, should they have made changes a little earlier?
Could he have 60 minutes gone? You've had a good run. I know you've been out injured. You've got an hour under your belt. Off you pop. Bukayo Saka is so important to that team, Rob. And every time he plays, he did come off.
Late.
He got a little bit of a knock though before that, and we were wondering, hold on, And listen, Mikel Arteta obviously has his reasons for keeping them on the pitch, because he must be thinking, he's a smart enough coach to be thinking that, Rob. But I just wonder, like, could we not have seen Nwaneri a little bit earlier? Could we have seen Jesus a little bit earlier?
Well,
Martinelli, Sterling. There was enough people who weren't in the starting 11 to just change it with 20 minutes ago, who would have been firing to show that they're still part.
Even half an hour.
They still show that they're part of things. And by the game was done then. West Ham weren't ever going to come back into the game, but. That's down to Mikel Arteta. Maybe he's trying to get minutes in some players that haven't had it.
Just thought he got more for Sterling, more for Nwaneri.
I'd agree.
That was the only thing. But I mean, other than that, the business was done really well.
And just to that point, and Arsenal fans will have their own view, but might he have to manage those players in certain games, in certain situations? Still in the Champions League, obviously, FA Cup to come, and Premier League. Might you have to, some games, if things are going well after 60 minutes, say to Saka, off you come, and have trust in those other guys? Because what we've seen, Rob, when Martin Odegaard wasn't there, with Bukayo Saka's out of the team on that right-hand side where he scores or assists.
Those two players.
There's a difference. There's your title challenge or not title challenge. And so might just have to think a little bit about how what minutes those guys are getting.
But then you get into situations. I mean, not necessarily have to prioritise competitions. But what you're saying is when there's an opportunity, and you're 3 goals up.
Correct.
Then because I think
don't take a risk.
I think is a bit of a
He's
a bit of a come off.
Does it with Trent? Do you remember early in the season, and he said to Trent, you have your minutes, you can't afford an injury. And I know players ain't going to like it. And Odegaard looks like he wants to play every minute, and Saka's the same. Sometimes just help them out, because players will want to play every minute of the game.
They're in a good spot. Arsenal are in a good spot.
West Ham disappointed, my friend. Just a quick line on Lopetegui. Every time you think there's a little step forward, another one goes back. I was listening to radios last night. West Ham fans not happy, mate. I know the Newcastle win was a great win, and they talked about the Pacator and better shape, but it didn't look great again.
I'm not feeling it for West Ham and Julen Lopetegui, and I know he's in some ways he's had great jobs.
Excelled, yeah,
Spanish national team, Real Madrid coach, like he's done good work. Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, before West Ham in the Premier League. I don't like where they are on the league table. No. I'm not seeing the impact and the changes that I thought I would see. Yeah. I'm not seeing the attacking
players, aren't they? With a better level of player now. The Pacators, the
like
Rodriguez.
You look at even the back four, right? Yeah. Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson.
Yeah.
I mean, Emerson's won big things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. I mean, Wan-Bissaka.
He's a good defender.
I think midfield's a bit odd. It's a bit of an odd, Souček and Paquetá plays deeper. Yeah. It should be number 10, really, or at least number 8.
He played so well against Newcastle from that position.
No, but it's not sustainable for a long period of time, is it? Basically, are they? I feel like there's a better team in there than what we're seeing right now.
Better team with the same players?
Yeah, there's a better team. There's a better performance.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Than what we're seeing. So there's an underperformance from the manager. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I would go more that I don't like the style of play. I don't like the way that they try and build up and take so much risk, Rob, with players who are not naturally built.
Yeah, but there's enough technical. I mean, that's the whole point of bringing him in, wasn't it? To change the style of football from David Moyes.
Yeah, but if you go too expansive with players who Kilman and the
Kilman
likes...
can play.
Kilman
can play.
He can play, but he doesn't want balls under pressure where the press is on from a decent team like Arsenal, and you've got one touch to play it outside. I'm telling you, mate, that isn't going to work. That is not going to... The amount of times I've watched West Ham games, and I've watched a little bit because I'm interested, got friends who are West Ham. How many... You have a look, go back and watch. How many times do you see a midfield player from West Ham running back towards his goal, trying to stop somebody, crossing the ball or thing, because they've given away the ball. The two full-backs get high and wide early, so they leave the two centre-backs isolated, try and play into midfield, it breaks down, and people are running at them.
So are you saying that his expansive nature is not... They're struggling with it. Let me cut to this, mate. The next 5 games, let's just read these off for West Ham United: Leicester, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton, Southampton.
Yeah.
That for me is good. After that run of games,
9 points.
We're gonna know enough about this manager with this group.
Well,
and
I think West Ham are already looking at options beyond Lopetegui.
And listen, you know me with managers,
right?
Yeah, I want to be sure. Yeah. I want to see what they've got. Give them time. It's a third of the season gone now. After this run of games, we should be seeing something, mate. We should be seeing some improvement, some development. This is what he's trying to do. There's some better results. If we're not, I'm on the phone to my sporting director, Tim Stuyton, by the way. We had
a conversation with. He's a very confident guy.
Very confident. I don't. Some of the signings.
Fulkrug has been a disaster.
Can't get fit.
I mean, the point that Mikel Antonio is still centre forward for the West Ham team,
and I love him,
based on what I love him, and he should be part of the team. He shouldn't be my main centre forward who any goals. For all the money that's spent over all the years, we're still going back to where we are.
I like Kilman. Good signing, $51 million.
Yeah, he's been decent.
Luis Guillermo from Palmeiras, the 18-year-old kid. Hardly seen anything of him. Somerville looks bright. I like Wan-Bissaka's done a decent job. You know, Todibo looks decent. Guido Rodriguez in the middle of the park. Soler looks...
better.
So, rightly, under scrutiny, under a little bit of pressure, this is not what West Ham fans wanted.
No,
they wanted a different style. They wanted a bit more entertainment, but they wanted some results. So there is a balance there, and he's
yesterday
not
was a big result for West Ham, because they either start to get mid-table and feel like, we're starting to get there, we just beat Arsenal, or you get beat as badly as they were, Rob, and they're down amongst the teams that they shouldn't be.
No, exactly right.
Not that you've spent that money. So, we'll see how that goes. Lopetegui, big, as you say, 4 or 5 games between now and Christmas time for the West Ham manager.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.